You are ready.
All right. Fantastic. Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Jody Humphrey here in Atlanta, Georgia. A little rainy today where I'm at, but that's okay. We make our own weather. That's where we're the weather specialists, right? We're our own environmental control. So here, sunny skies, ready to build something amazing. And we are in the greatest business in the world. We're in the people business, we're in the money business, and I can't think of anything else better than to be in those. I like that little sign right there on Kimberly's left shoulder. It says dream. I like that little thing she has sitting there. And that's what it's all about. So today we're going to arm you. We're going to, as you go through, the two things we're going to focus on is to drill for will and to drill for skill. When you're in sports and you go to practice, you do those drills. Whatever you're trying to do, you do those repetitive drills that will make you better and better and better at what you're trying to do. And with us, drill for will means you're working on those intangibles, those things about the system to make you better. But drill for skill is to giving you the skills it takes to become successful. And that's what we focus on Wednesday. I think this is one of the best calls in the industry because we give you specific things. We don't always do a deep dive into all the products because if you're not aware, just check your email. We have more product provider training than you could ever imagine. You literally could spend most of your day just sitting and getting trained by all of our great product providers. So today we're giving you things I think that could help you on a daily basis and really change your mindset on that. So let's start out today with the great Tim O'Rourke to give us his update, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Jody. Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Morning.
You know, it's interesting how the cycles are in business and cycles are in market, cycles are in everything in life too. We're in a late bull market cycle right now. If you look at if you look at the economy as well. And we're in an early cycle here at HCI. You know, we're really just getting going, and your business is also in that same kind of thing. And I'm going to draw some comparisons to that today. But in a late market bull cycle, let me draw some comparisons of how this works, and so you can kind of see how important where we are in the products we have and how important they apply to. So in this kind of bull market cycle where we're at, where we came from back in 08, 09, it drove interest rates down to zero because what happened is they had to print money. You know, when you heard me give this whole thing about how they're secretly driving inflation and the devaluation of our currency to pay for all this, you know, printed money that the Federal Reserve did. Again, the Federal Reserve is just printing money to loan it to itself. I mean, it's the ultimate scam that this is how they get around these potential harsh cycles, and they just smooth out the bumps. But really, what inflation is it just a way of easing? You know, it's like when you go through a speed bump in a neighborhood. They used to be these big, huge bumps. Now they're just little bitty bumps, and that's kind of what they're doing. But at the same time, you know, a dollar back in 1913 now is worth $1 today, where it was a lot greater value. So these trends, you know, through these cycles are what we try to help our clients manage through. And the current cycle right now is creating what I would call, and all the people are talking about today is what's called a K-shaped backdrop. So what is a K-shaped economy? A K-shaped economy means some people have assets and the other people, if you can see it, think of a K that way, are dealing with basically paycheck to paycheck kind of an environment. And most of the financial advisors out there are, and they're talking about this today on, I call it the talking heads on these CNBC and Fox Business, that the high net worth people are the ones that the financial advisors at Morgan Stanley and Merrill Lynch and all these independent LPL, Raymond James kind of firms that I used to work with they want to deal with the high net worth people because that's where, they can get the highest fees from. And they're talking about the impact of AI and how it's going to depress their fees, the fees on money management. So the back to the K-shaped thing is the people with assets are, there's a bigger divide between those with assets and those without. And that's kind of what's separating right now in the economy is because of inflation, because of the impact of these tariffs, we're seeing more and more of this division between households out there. I love it the other day, if you saw my comments on Tim Talks, um, that they don't count food and energy in the inflation numbers. It's like, what? It's the two highest cost things that we all have to pay for. I mean, you go to the gas pump and you go to the grocery store. I mean, I remember how expensive eggs got there for a while. And that's just one area, but it's just like beef prices are still rising at an exorbitant rate. So if it's not eggs, it's some form of food is always going to be under pressure, it seems like. But anyway, causing inflation is going to be an impact on the economy. And the more and more it has an impact, the more and more we're going to see that division within the haves and the have-nots, and that's something that we deal with people that we're talking to all the time. And the next part of all this, when you're in a late bull market cycle, is going to be employment. We're seeing mixed numbers on all this on employment. One time we see good numbers on employment. Today we saw some really good numbers on employment. We saw, I think it was 155,000 jobs were created in January, and they were expecting like half that number. And so that was really a good number. In December, it was less. And then we're getting mixed kind of numbers from ADP and then from the government. The government shutdown was a short period of time, ended on February 3rd. And now they're talking about, another potential government shutdown because of politics. And then you have the tariff effect. Whatever you want to call it, and we've talked about this many times before, tariffs are really just a tax. It's another tax. It's adding friction to the economy, and it's inflationary. No matter what anybody says, it's going to impact inflation, and it's going to impact everything: housing, food, utilities, healthcare. Goes right across the board. It's going to have its effect on everything that moves in the economy. So you have this whole thing going on here. We've got unemployment, we've got labor, we got the K-shaped economy kind of going on. Then you got the geopolitical fears out there. You got gold and silver. There's a flight to these precious metals. The reason this is all going on is because there's not a lot of confidence in the currencies out there today, on all across the board. Back to 71, as I talked about, when Nixon took us off the gold standard. There's nothing behind our currencies anymore than the good faith to collect taxes. So anytime now you see that the dollar is weak, it's going to support gold and silver. Silver, as we saw, took a big down adjustment in price. Now it's going to work its way back up slowly. Those things happen, but gold is actually held up pretty good. Gold is the new, I'd say it's a secondary reserve currency of the world. You've heard me talk about this. That will continue. I think gold is where the central banks of all the other countries are investing in right now, and I think that's going to continue. And you're going to see basically stock markets around the world basically invest more and more in gold. So I think we're going to see gold at $10,000 an ounce at some point here in the next few years. It may take 3 years, it may take 5 years. It's really hard to say how long this is going to take, but it's going to happen over time. So I think ahead, what we're going to expect in the economy here is AI seems to be the driving force here. Um, the interesting thing I find about AI now, just talking about how it's held up the stock market. The Dow just crossed 50,000 for the first time. S&P is bordering 7,000, trying to get over that level. And once it does, I think it will start to take off again. But AI, with all these data centers and the power that it takes, the energy that it takes to run these things, so you're looking at a system that it has to keep buying these chips from NVIDIA, Oracle. So it's a constant investment situation, and it's a low return on dollars, which I think is probably, in my opinion, going to be the catalyst for a correction at some point. That's what everybody's talking about is the bubble. But we need a correction at some point here. It's been too long. It's something's going to be the catalyst, and when that happens, we're going to have our clients protected, and that's the main thing here. Having people protected against this, and especially older people. The older somebody is, the less time frame they have to replenish their assets, being exposed to risk. Because let's face it, risk is the big thing that we protect people against, and that's our job. That's our job, to shelter people, protect them against someone loss of life, also protect against market risk. So that's what we bring to Middle America. That's what we bring to Wall Street. To Main Street, and that's why our jobs are so important. But that's a quick review today, Jody. I think it's important to understand late market cycles and how they operate and where we are in this cycle right now. We're right there, somewhere around the end of this great bull market that we've been seeing for over 16 years now. And I think we're going to see some kind of movement here. I can't predict when, but it's coming. So back to you.
Well, thank you, Tim, very, very much. And I always appreciate your insights and, just the pieces of education that you give us daily on Tim's Talks and weekly on these Zoom calls. I think it's great for all of us just to learn more, hear more, understand, and hear it in a maybe said differently than someone else. So we appreciate that very much. I definitely think that our job first and foremost is protection, right? And making sure that, people's foundation is in place and that we build their house, their financial house on a proper, strong foundation. And that's absolutely our first priority, in our world. So Joe, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just was going to say one thing. Thank you always, Tim. I appreciate it so much. And I had to kind of smile because I was looking out on my back porch and I got this beautiful new generator that I bought a little while back, right? And it was because of the impending snowmageddon or whatever we thought was coming. So, excuse me, I waited, of course, ran and found the last one, and so I just think the analogy that's what people are going to do as we move to the rest of this conversation, whether it's on the protection side, and protection can be two things. Protection, one can be with the life insurance in case you die, obviously, because as very simply put, everything we do is to guard against two things. One of two things. One is living too long. The other one's dying too soon. Just remember that, guys. That's all that we do when it comes to the business, our product side of things. We guard against living too long or dying too soon. And both those things regard protection. And that's a little bit of what we're going to move into in our conversation. Now, with Kimberly leading the conversation is, the protection of your hard-earned assets, the protection of your retirement money. And then also getting people to, we have a great ability to put things off and to procrastinate. We all do. It's staggering what we can rationalize and what we can put off. And I know that F&A after F&A and after F&A that we do, we see people that are making big money who just haven't saved money. People making $100,000, $200,000 a year, and they're in their 50s and they've saved maybe $20,000, $30,000. We need to get after it. We need to start making some plans. and we need to start preparing. So Kimberly, we turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So a couple of great things that you just made my brain do. There's a chapter in a book on one of your favorite people. I'll leave names unnamed, but talks about buying a generator, right? You know the power is going to go out at some point. Well, don't be angry with the lineman because they haven't turned it back on. Be angry at yourself because you haven't bought a generator. It's going to happen. But the same thing in our world, right? Is you're going to die. You're going to retire. Don't be angry at the fact that's going to happen. Prepare for it. Know that. But also, you said, people procrastinate. You bought a generator right before the snow happened because you thought, oh God, I need a generator, right? And that's true procrastination. I know I need it one day, maybe. I got to get it right now because now I need it right now. And a lot of times in financial planning, people do that with retirement and people do that with life insurance, right? When do people call you most desperate for life insurance? After they've had a diagnosis. Can't help you then, right? So we have to tell these stories and tell it in conversations where people can relate. When do people get serious about moving their money? When they need to take some of it and they can't take it unless they put it somewhere different, right? And they're like, I need to talk to you today. Well, I've been trying to talk to you for the last 6 months. Why is today so urgent? Because I need some. Oh, I understand now. And I think for most people, the answer is they have to make more money. I have 2 different clients that I'm meeting with both today that sent me their budget. And they're like, hey, this is where I am. And you guys know I don't do budgets. If you want to send it to me, I'll look at it, but I'm not going to, type it in with you. But they're like, this is where I am. How do I get out of this debt? What can I do? And I see their budget. There's nothing. I can't fix it. I can't make magic happen. You got $300 left at the end of the month. It's not happening, right? That's not anything I can do or any financial person can do. What is their solution? They have to make more money, right? They have to make more money, period. If they actually want to get out of debt, if they actually want to save for retirement, if they actually want to move forward. That's not me trying to convince them to come work with me. That's just me telling them reality. So I think we need to be very clear in our conversations that we have with people. And I think we need to, unfortunately or fortunately, don't sugarcoat it, right? It is not a sugarcoating conversation. You might not like what I have to say, but I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm not saying it to be malicious. I'm saying it because it's the truth. And you probably need to hear it said this way, right? And then move forward. You are where you are. I was having this conversation with one of my kids earlier. You are where you are. We can't fix that. We can't go backwards, right? So how do we go forward and get better grades in school? Or how do we go forward and get out of debt? Or how do we go forward and prepare for retirement? We start today and we make the changes that we can going forward. So I think that's a great message. I think it's something I want all of you guys to think about, but have serious, truthful conversations with your clients. There's no reason to sugarcoat it, right? They're coming to you for advice. You can be nice, but they're coming to you for advice. So give it to them and tell them exactly where they are, and they'll respect you for it and they'll appreciate you for it. But give them solutions, not just, doomsday. So this is where you are. Let's move forward. Yeah.
One thing I think it's going to say is that, and I know that a lot of the guys within Aki's team have say this, and I think it's very powerful. When you're talking to somebody, you need to make them realize that this may be the only time, maybe the last conversation that they're going to be in control of their future. They will have less control after that conversation with everything else. And so I think that's a real powerful point. I know it hits me very hard to realize that right now I need to make the right decisions. My health is what it is. It's your health. Unfortunately, probably not going to get better. It just doesn't work that way. It's the way God made us. One other thing, and from a building point of view, and this hit me yesterday, this opportunity is so amazing because it allows people to chase their dreams. Now, I'll give you an example. My son, Jordan, came with us to the event we had this past weekend. And I know him enough to know he's a pretty magical kid, and he loved it, loved being around everybody, but he really caught the bug. He's had me talk to 7 people in 2 days since he got back, just talking to him about the business. And we called this guy yesterday, And this guy's one of the top songwriters. He's not one of even up and coming, not a middle, but this guy's written about 8 or 9 number one songs. And we kind of called him thinking very much it was an F&A conversation. And it was, but it turned into he's doing the business because these guys want to chase their dream. They're very clear on what their dream is. Their dream is to chase the music industry, but there's got to be a way that they don't have to wait tables, that they don't have to go get another job. This thing is so perfect. This business can be anything you want it to be. It can fund whatever life you want to live, and it can allow you to go chase whatever dream you want. So I just want to share that thought.
No, I think that's awesome and definitely a great message. And I said to our team yesterday in our team call, I think it's our responsibility to come back and tell you about some of these trips because all of you guys should want to be on those trips. And I know in our career, some of you have heard our story, all of that, but my first plane ride was on my honeymoon. That's the first time I'd ever been literally on an airplane. And since then, every single trip I've ever taken has been through an organization like this with an insurance company. Like we've literally traveled across the world most of the time for free in some of the most amazing places that we've ever been in. I mean, think about this, guys. We were at the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, sponsored by Nexus. We were guests of a Nexus. We were on the 18th hole, which is the last one. If you don't know golf, like I don't know golf, we're in the 18th hole, and you walk into this VIP place, and the entire upstairs is outfitted with food and drinks and couches and tables, and right at the front is kind of a little seating area that you can actually watch the space, but it's magical. There's never a time in my life that I probably ever would have had the opportunity to go somewhere like that outside of this business, outside of our company, outside of our connections. And you've heard the trips to Rome, you've seen the trips to Maui. Know that, understand that. That's what you guys have outside of the money you can make, right? You can make a fortune and you can do great things with it, but also know the opportunities that you have to truly see the world differently than what you saw before, than what you probably ever had options to see. Jody's going to show you pictures, I think. He's muted, but I see his library coming up. So are you showing pictures? Waste Management Open pictures? On mute? Well, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We'll see. We'll see what he shows us. Here we go. Waste Management. Maybe I'm going to narrate his pictures for him. But it was magical. Great weekend. Great time. This is the view from our seats, which is crazy. All those other people on the ground, those are general admission. And they literally, like 300,000 people a day somewhere like this. You want to speak, Jody?
It was amazing. We had an incredible team. Team was there. We had all these different events, just watching teammates talk and doing all the things that took place here. I'm sorry about the lag that's on here, but it was amazing because we got to see a Nexus and all the things that went with that. Afterwards, here we are talking as a group, all the different camaraderie that took place there, meetings around the meetings, as we went into a Nexus headquarters. How incredible was that?
It was amazing.
It's a beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
place. It was. We went there, and then as if it couldn't get hardly any better, then they basically allowed a few of us to go to this basketball game, and we didn't just go to the basketball game. They literally took us and we sat on the floor. And this is the great Sam Mitchell, who's part of our team. As he went on the floor, all the players came over and talked to him. So it was a crazy event. It was one of those things to where you really can't even imagine how powerful it was going to be. So that just gives you a little taste of it. And to me, what I love about this business is that you can't even dream the things we do. It's like you were talking about, Kimberly. You would never have thought to dream that. I've got several things that happened to me that I wouldn't even have known to write down. I didn't even know they were there. And so when that happens, so just dream. All this goes back to that.
Goes back to dreaming of possibilities. It's a great way to make an extra $1,000 a month, but it's also a great way to live your life, because it's a pretty amazing lifestyle. All right, so let's talk about products and concepts, because that's what we're on here today for. So one of the first things that I want to talk to you guys about, and I want to engage in this if you have some questions, but what I see a lot of times is when we're moving money, and when I'm talking about moving money, I'm talking about moving it into like an annuity, right? We fill out our paperwork, we submit it, and then we sit and wait. And a lot of times doing that takes a moment, right? It takes a long time for those companies to actually release those funds and get it over to the company that you're waiting on it to come to. And then that delay delays your compensation. So how can you, like best practices, how can you speed that process up? So I'm just going to tell you what I do, and then you guys can ask any questions that you have. But let's say that I'm taking an annuity application, because that's typically what our lump sum money would be, annuity or CalChoice, or WFS, but Zach will help you with that part of it, right? So if I'm taking an application and it's coming from an account, not just their checking account, something that they don't have complete control over. Once I finish that application, inside that application, I'm going to complete the transfer form, right? It's going to ask me, where's it coming from? What's the account number? All that information in there. And then I'm going to have them e-sign it and submit it and do all of that. But as soon as, either then at that moment or after I get my suitability review, especially nationwide, right? Like send you the suitability review that says, hey, we're ready to move forward with this. You're good to go. As soon as I know that we're good to go, I'm going to call with that client to the custodian. So let's say the custodian is Fidelity. I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to say, hey, Gail, if I'm moving Gail's money, I'm going to say, we need to call Fidelity and just see what they need from us. A lot of times, if it's coming from an old 401k, they will send that check on your behalf without a transfer form, just with verbal instructions. So you're going to speed up that process by 2 to 3 weeks at minimum, which means that your client gets their policy faster and you get paid faster, right? You have to call with your client, because they're not going to speak to you. Doesn't matter if you're their person. They don't know that. They don't believe you. They're going to verify your client. And so just call with them on the phone, but ask them, just say, hey, we're moving this money. We're processing a transfer, rollover, whatever it is. Will you accept our instructions over the phone, or do you require transfer paperwork? They will answer that question for you. If they require it over the phone, awesome. Sometimes if it's a 401k company, they will send it directly to the custodian. So make sure you've got that transfer form pulled up. You know the new account number, which actually they don't really care about, but you know where it's going. So if it's going to Nationwide, you've got Nationwide's address, and they're going to send it for the benefit of, especially if it's a qualified plan, your client, right? So if this is Gail's policy coming from Fidelity, Fidelity's going to make the check payable to Nationwide FBO for the benefit of Gail Ames, right? And then a lot of times they'll send that directly to the investment company. If they don't, from a 401k, they're going to send it directly to Gail. And it's Gail's responsibility or your client's responsibility to take that check and then forward it to the investment company, the annuity company, whoever that is. They don't have to sign the back of that check, but you do need to send them either via text or email. Where did they mail the check, right? And what account number did they put on the bottom of the check? I just tell them if they get that check physically to put the account number in the memo line, just so it's there, and send that in to them, and they'll deposit it in their account. So it speeds up your process. If they don't process it verbally, then you still need to call with your client and ask them if they will accept our transfer paperwork or if they require their own. It depends. It depends on the company. Some of them will take the transfer paperwork that Nationwide sends them directly. It's easy and it's done. Some of them won't. They'll take that transfer paperwork, reject it, and say we require our own. But you're not going to know that for 2 or 3 weeks. You're going to sit there and you're going to wait. You're going to be like, where is this money? Why hasn't this happened? Your clients are going to get frustrated with it. You're going to get frustrated with it. So no, it is your responsibility to move it as quickly as possible through that. And typically, I always tell my clients, hey, this is the process. It's going to happen. So just kind of know what this is. And when you call, I also wouldn't ask my clients to call without me. I would call with them, because what are those advisors going to do as soon as they get them on the phone? They're going to try to conserve that business. They're going to try to talk them out of whatever you've just told them is best for them. So take control of that business, you know, make sure that you take it step by step by step by step, and then when it's done and it's issued, you're good to go, and your clients loved you because you literally held their hand through that process. Moving money doesn't have to be hard and difficult, but sometimes it is. You know, those companies don't want to get rid of it, don't want to give it up, so the longer they have it, the more money they make, right? And sometimes clients just get frustrated with it and don't move forward. So take control of that yourself and walk that through as quickly as possible so you can get paid and your clients' policies get issued as fast as possible. Does anyone have any questions about that? No? You're all
I have
excellent.
a question.
Oh,
I
okay.
have a question, Kim. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. In the process, I'm learning more and more about the annuity. I remember that I used to share my clients for annuity with another coworker, and we did a case with Alliance. Then they request like a medallion in the bank.
Yes.
Uh, can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because really, I didn't pay too much attention because I used to share the clients, but now I'm really into the annuity. So I
Yeah,
truly
so that's a
appreciate it.
good point too. So when you call that company with your client and you ask them what's required, they should tell you that they'll accept your transfer paperwork, but they want a medallion signature guarantee. That is one step above a notary. A notary, we all know what that is. Go to the bank, have it stamped, right? And a medallion signature is very similar to that, but it's a level of security higher. And usually the banks do that for you. Sometimes the investment companies will do that. When we send in transfer paperwork, sometimes they'll medallion stamp it for you. But that's a question you're going to have to ask. If they don't medallion stamp it for you, then you're going to have to print that transfer form, email it to your client, and say, hey, take this to your bank, get the medallion stamp guarantee on there. And that means that they have to sign it in front of them too, right? So they can't sign it and then take it and say, hey, will you prove this is my signature? You're going to have to sign it in front of them. So make sure that they have that copy that they can sign, and then bring back and send that into the transferring company. So you take care of that for them. But that's a good question as well. Typically that's either done by the company that's moving the money or by a bank. Mauricio, do you have something you want to say?
Well, I mean, I was obviously I'm going to speak in the end. I was just kind of thinking of whether to plug this in right now because I think it goes right to the heart of what you're saying. I think I should give me 2 minutes because what you just trained us on is spot on. There is inside of this tool something called super agent skills. Many of you have probably been there to the super agent skills. And there's a whole section on how to move money. Here's moving the money. And the money can come from banks into IULs and FIAs. There's a way to do that. Money can also come from investments. And there's a way to do that. And you have to walk this line very, very careful because we're not securities licensed. So you can't make any recommendations on to liquidate anything. But there is a way to do it. And then, like Kimberly was saying, if you want to move money from 401ks and IRAs into IULs or FIAs, there's also a lot of delicate things that you have to know about. And if you know ahead of them, your client, it's not like, oh, you make a statement or you tell them something that later you can't do or it results in some tax event, you're going to lose all credibility and all respect from that client.
Yeah.
So you want to learn these now. And then you have a comprehensive rollover transfer guide. But what it is it's let's say a typical case, you're moving from the bank. It tells you if it's moving from checking account, what's your typical rate. Like it gives you the instructions and it even gives you what to say. Like you could go in there literally right now. Let's just go with a common one, like moving money from a brokerage account. You have the actual sample call in English and in Spanish. You can listen to this call and how you train the client. Because there's a question that they always ask. First of all, they send the client like a verification of identity through their phone. You have to train your client ahead of time of all this stuff, so so it goes smooth. And then sometimes, not all, sometimes, almost all of the time, the current money manager will ask the client, "Have you reviewed the sort of like the tax consequences of doing this transaction?" If you don't tell your client and you don't train them ahead of time of what that is, they're going to say no. If
Yeah.
you haven't done that, so they're going to not process your request. You have to call again and do the whole process. So this here has the dialogue.
Part 1, pre-call conversation between agent and client. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, Eric. I'm doing great.
Ready to call your investment company?
I am.
So anyways, you can go there. You can go there. I'm not going to play it right now, but what you can do is just go in there. This is double, triple, quadruple check compliance. It's the language, the process is a very careful road you got to walk. But knowing this is key, is golden. Like even give you the actual script. You can read if you don't want to listen. You can actually read the script on how to do it, and money moving from all ways, from all forms, which is from banks, from Wall Street, outside of a retirement account, from within the retirement account, and you have the actual full guide here on how to move everything from anywhere and in the right way. So go there. You're going to get a lot of value from it, especially being proactive and not make mistakes, because you could make a mistake with the client that's moving $500,000, and just one simple little mistake will spook them. This guy doesn't know, this girl doesn't know what they're talking about, and there you go. You lost the opportunity to give that client a lot of value and maybe $30,000 in commission. So just be careful.
Thanks, Mauricio, very much. Sorry, I had a kid phone call just then. But yeah, that's fantastic, and it's amazing, and it's awesome. And knowing exactly where that is, and then it goes step by step by step through that process. You don't have to listen to me do it a million times. You literally just have to go to one of those guides, read it, and walk yourself through it. But you do need to know, and you do need to understand that you can facilitate it. You can make it faster just by going through that process there. I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I'll turn it over to Mauricio for today. But last week we did a training in Atlanta with Corebridge, and we went over annuities, and we also went over a lot of the IULs, VPP, AAS, stuff like that through, again, Corebridge. And it was fantastic. It was amazing. One of the things that Charles, the annuity wholesaler, pulled up that I thought was awesome was third-party validation. We have that in Abacus, but we also have that through a guide that he pulled up and that he referenced a lot of times with JP Morgan. And he said, ask your client, have you ever heard of JP Morgan? And they're going to say, yes, absolutely. And the whole point of all of this is just that third-party validation, just to give them stuff that they've seen, that they know from a company that they understand, and say, hey, okay, don't listen to me. Listen to what JP Morgan says. So if you Google JP Morgan Guide to Retirement, you will see that this has like 55 different pages of information here. And when we scroll through this, I'll open it full screen just really quickly. If you can't see the full screen, can you guys see it? Krena, can you see full screen? I see your face. So yes, thumbs up. Yeah, okay. But if you scroll through here, the very first page is literally just the contents, right? Retirement landscape, savings, spending, investing, Social Security health, and Social Security health and reference. And it walks you through all of these different topics and just kind of gives you, from JP Morgan's perspective, all of their knowledge, all of their clients, all of their database, where we are with things. And this is, I think a really great visual that Jody mentioned earlier is, maybe this is the last time you have this much control over your financial situation. So if we're looking at retirement, which is the box in the middle, you have total control, top left in the purple, over saving versus spending and asset allocation and location. At the bottom in the green, you have some control over your employment, your earnings, and your duration, how long you work, right? And the longevity of employment, and obviously your life. And then out of your control are market returns and tax and benefits policy, right? So just going through this, there's a lot of education, a lot of graphs, a lot of things that are here that I think you could use as another third-party validation outside of what we tell them, outside of what Abacus says, that gives you real life, current conversations and examples about where people are with money, how much, are you going to need to spend in retirement? How much is Social Security going to provide for? All of those things. But I just wanted you guys to see this. I think it's a great tool to go through and just, again, read it, educate yourself on what they're saying in current time. And if you need to pull it up, pull it up. And if you look at this, you can listen to the audio as well. And I think if I open it, you can read the slide details that tells you exactly about, what they're talking about here. So just wanted you guys to know that's another tool that you have at your fingertips. You definitely have access to that in conjunction with everything that we do and everything that we have. So Mauricio, I'm going to turn it over to you for the last few minutes of the day.
That's probably one of the best pieces, Kimberly, for learning how to move that money. That's just so critical. All right, guys, so I'm going to share my screen. I think you want to be aware of sort of the updates that we've got on the tech side, because it relates. The better we know how to sell the opportunity, then the more relevant learning products and concept is. So obviously, this is an opportunity to get us involved into how to explain this thing when you're recruiting. And I've seen Jody do it masterfully with Ovi and I can't remember the name of his spouse. Hopefully they're not here. But there's a way to do this. So inside, right, when you're explaining to somebody our value proposition in terms of technology, you can see they are numbered now. Before they were just random sort of order of technology. You have to kind of go through. Now you have a number and they have an order. Hegemon Academy license quest at Flux is 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to dive deeper when you have your time to go in there, this is sort of how it goes. So when you first recruit somebody, they're part of HGI. They already have Aristotle by default of joining the company. But then they need to understand the leadership format system. They need to understand the fast start. This does not replace you. Very important. Is a new recruit as a baby, but we also want to make sure that even if we go do double-digit recruiting and all of a sudden 3 bring 3 who bring 3 who bring 3 because everybody's doing their 330s and you're growing like weed, you don't want to leave anybody behind. So you need your support 24/7 that explains the system like Hubert would, right? The fast start. So you have what's called the Hegemon Academy, and you go in there, you create an account. This is no cost to you at all. This is a full free account. You create one, and when you're logged in, you literally can start the training, and the training is Fast Start Guide, Licensing Sprint, F&A Mastery, the BOP, how to give the BOP, right? And the Fast Start teaches you as a matter of fact, in the Fast Start, here's what you do the first day when you join HGI. You learn the history, understanding the business model, review product and services, like a 30,000 feet overview, like what do we do, and pass the welcome assessment. There's actually some assessments so they can complete this. So they're not going to just skip it or browse through it. They actually, if they try to complete it, it's going to send them to the course, right? And then the first 10 days, you go to build your target market list, build your business plan, financial needs analysis. So it forces, or it not forces, but it guides to the internal consumption. And they are consuming now that. So whether they go here and they try to, let's say, click on here to go, they can actually start the video. Here's the HGI mission. And they're going to be able to hear, and they're going to be able to see the videos that should, for some reason, it should be here, but they should be here on the next update here. Let me see. There are 60 videos that explain the concept. As a matter of fact, I will stop sharing, and I have to show you this because this is actually going to be very important for you to know. So let me see HGI. So what I did is I was using links, and I said, no, let's not use links because links expire. So let's download it on the server and serve them forever. But I do want to show you how it feels and how it looks for the people that come in. Let me see if I can serve the videos right from the server for you here. Hold on. So it's very, very easy for people to actually go through, and they'll complete. And what I love about it is that you get the opportunity to focus on those that are really executing with aggressiveness. into the system, but even those that are like a part-time of a part-time, they always have a place to go. So you are never going to be the one at fault per se, um, because you are providing them a full, beautiful, complete, sort of a fast start guide. Let me see. Um, hang in there with me. I forget these passwords sometimes. Okay, I got it. So it is. All right, here we go. So this should work. Let me re-share my screen. And this is what you'll see by 2 p.m. And by the way, it's all in Spanish. You know, you could see the Spanish. Let's do the English first. You can just change language immediately from English to Spanish. But if you go to the fast start, then you try to go here, it's going to take you to the actual, it doesn't provide the video. It doesn't serve the video. All right, you'll see the video there, but you have the video, you have the audio, and then you actually have the script, and people will have to sort of answer the assessment, the knowledge base, so that once they go through the video or audio, they'll at least know. And this is coming straight. There's not a single word that I added to this that is not in the leadership format system or in the fast start guide. Not a word. Everything comes right from there, right? Like in this test that I did, it auto-completes when you actually take the assessment. So people can go through the assessment, right? They can go through and actually see the content that they need in order to be versed on that. So just, you know, log in here about 2 p.m. and you should be able to get a feel. Everything that we're doing there to help people is in both languages. You can switch from English to Spanish at any time. Also in the front of the page, you could do that, either change to English and or change to Spanish if you're, you know, doing that. Everything we're doing bilingual now, for you to have no excuse. So moving along, so first when you join, and you got to know how to do that fast start, because the better you understand the fast start, the better you will do the 3-3-30. And I've never seen anybody explain the 3-3-30 better than Kimberly, but I'm going to show you how you can actually sort of give people an explanation of that with the tools we've got. The next thing is got a lot of people excited, which is getting your agent's license in 3 to 7 days, not 3 to 6 months. And so what we did is we created a tool. We call it License Quest. This does not exist anywhere in the country, and it's actually a mobile app. Well, it's a desktop, but it's actually a mobile. When you go there, imagine you have a new recruit, and you want that recruit to get licensed in just a few days instead of months. What we did is we took what worked for Duolingo. And if you guys know Duolingo, I got the idea. My daughter's learning Spanish using Duolingo, and it's so addictive and so fun. She has fun. When I take them to school, she wants to listen to Duolingo songs. It's just, she can't get it out of her head. And she's learning Spanish at a rapid speed. So we said, you know, when people sign up for Excel or they sign up for Examifex, you get the book and then you have to go at it and study, the most boring thing. That's why only about 20% of people ever get licensed. That's the reality, because they'll fail 2, 3, 4 times. They'll study. And so it's just not fun. It's like Huber said, you sell them a dream and then they sort of walk into, and I'm not saying that getting a license has to be a nightmare, but it is something that if we can help them overcome and make, like, I'm sure if you have children, the children can play video games 10 hours, but they will not read a book for 5 minutes without getting bored.
I tell them it's kind of like poking their eye out with an ice pick. It's boring.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. So if you already have your license, you probably are not going to go there, do the whole experience. But even if you do, just so you understand just how addictive, sticky, and now the vision of making that phone be with them is their teacher next to them all 24/7 and doing games. So it's not a monologue anymore. It's a back and forth. You answer and you do and you earn points. And so it's a Duolingo style that based on all of the scientific study and the reason how they built like Duolingo it's never been introduced to the financial space for Series 65 and insurance and health license. So we're the first one in the world in history that actually bought that sort of, because Kaplan doesn't have it, ExamEffects doesn't have it. Now, it doesn't replace them. You still have to buy their course. You just train with us to get licensed. That's it. You buy the course over there, you use License Quest, and you should be ready to take your exam in 3 to 7 days. Now, if we can license our people at a much faster rate than industry in general, imagine how much more retention that is. Imagine how many more millions of dollars to the company that is, because when somebody has a license, they over the hump per se, and they just. I'm sure when you got your license, you got very motivated, and you're like, okay, let's go, ready to go. So less hesitation to do whatever you have to do. So you have your Hegemon Academy. Is going to make sure that you have a buddy, a digital buddy that will help you train your people and the system. And then you have License Quest that will license your people at a speed you've never seen before. And as a mobile app, now we have distribution. Let's talk about distribution. How about distributing strategy to a mobile device that everybody has these days? So I think this is amazing to know about. And that's the sort of the order that we're going here, licensing. And obviously the AdFlux and Weblet are your, because let me say this, with the Fast Start, you can have a list of 100 people every new recruit you bring. And then they do the list of 25. And then if you do the 3-way call, you should never need to make any advertising. But then the reality is, what if there was a way for you to not only take and leverage all the natural market, all the warm markets of all the recruits, but also very easily be able to attract from the people you don't know, right? Because social media has eyes and ears of the people. And so you need Weblet to create your landing pages. And I know you're like, Weblet, what happened to Cyberzeus? Well, Cyberzeus is there, will continue to be there, but it cannot go with us into the future. It was built in 2013, 14. We gave it a little test on how well we understand AI to make things very simple for you. And so Weblet is something that I want you guys to begin to know, because now you're just going to speak to the thing. It will build your landing pages, your funnels, and it will build the autoresponders automatically. You don't have to like build the autoresponders in one area, build your funnels in another area. It'll do it for you. So this is marketing and attraction. And obviously Abacus has to do with production, right? And if you want to work 24/7, contacting through your social media, your phone, those prospects that maybe you don't know, or maybe your new recruit doesn't know how to scientifically engage in a very ethical, compliant, elegant way of igniting a conversation to lead them sequentially into an actual appointment for recruiting and selling. Let me give you kind of an idea. You can click on these and you can read the actual landing pages. They'll tell you exactly how these things do. Like, how did we design them to do that, to be compliant with every media, with every social. Like we're not cutting any corners or looking for an easy way. No, it's used within the boundaries of what's with legal. But obviously, right at the edge of the latest in technology, right? So AgentFuse is there that for you to stop making calls, cold calling people, not even know what to say, maybe running into the scenario of disaster, but actually just plug AgentFuse in your computer, your device. Let me give you an example. So if you plug AgentFuse, it's going to, and you tell it, hey, just go to my Facebook and kind of go to the friends that I have there. It analyzes the profile. And based on that profile, it knows what they've done the last 30 to 50 days. But because it'll know, it'll also create a strategy on how to first be interested in them, how to add value before you do a call to action. You don't want to jump people in bed right away. But you're not doing it. It's like your phone, the minute you put your phone down, your phone is working. Because if you really, one of the things that there was an epiphany for me, which was organizations that can close the gap of human inconsistencies are going to devour everybody else. Devour them. And what is the human inconsistency? I could say that if I made 20 calls every single day, I get 2 appointments, even if I was horrible, right? Maybe 10% of all the calls, but I have to do it every day, every day, every day. I have to make 20 phone calls every day. But life happens. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the business and I have to transfer money, take applications, meet with clients, do annual reviews, get this recruit. And I have, oh my God, I didn't make my 20 calls today. Right? Because you get into that. So you fall off of that, becoming a millionaire on paper because you didn't make the 20 phone calls every single day, or you didn't do the outreaches every single day. So if you have a phone like I do, right? If you have a phone like I do, you probably have on your phone a social media. You have YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You have these things. But if you go in there, you have a lot of followers, and you have 6,000 of them. So if I click on it, I'm going to have all those 6,000 profiles, and they are posting something. Maybe 20, 30% of them say, I just got married. I just got divorced. I'm taking a trip. I'm going on a trip to Europe with HCI. I went to the waste management, golf tournament or whatever. They're posting billions of times. So you can go there. I just had a baby. So imagine using the power of the AI, which is what driving the markets, right? And have it craft for you the strategy, send it to you, and you just click send so you can ignite that. And it's your phone erasing the inconsistency of a human, but not putting you out. Like, it's just helping you. It's like, give me a quick summary of such and such person. This is how you can elegantly be interested in them. How and you'll see it. It's very powerful and right at the cusp of what's possible today. Now, don't feel overwhelmed with all of this stuff, right? Because it's not about overwhelming, and I'll tell you exactly why. None of this is actually going to be overwhelming if you know what each one of these do. These are all enhancers to you. I'm gonna do a quick summary. Fast start. Get licensed in days, not months. Drive traffic. These, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna put a brain. Right here on the side, we're gonna put a brain that you just speak to, and the brain does everything for you. So you don't even have to open Weblit or AppFlux at all. I'm going to show you the brain right now, actually. I'm going to show it to you right now. It's not deployed, but I'm going to show you that brain. Meaning the brain has the skill you don't have to be able to make the best funnels with the highest scientific, the formulas that will convert, drive the traffic, do the ads, all that. So you can do it, but you can also deploy the brain to do it for you. So your people don't have to. They can focus their time in the relationship building, in front of clients, field training, not learning tech, right? But if we didn't have the tools, you couldn't deploy a brain to them because there's nothing to work with. But we had to first build them and then build the brains on top of them. Abacus is probably the only one you do have to get involved because that is you with the client and relationship, the building, the doing the analysis, all these different things. That's when you do it. But you compress 10 years. We can help you look like a 10-year veteran in your first week in business after you get licensed. And then Agent Fuse is how do we book my calendar with appointments from warm markets. This is all the contacts I have on my phone. And if I want to actually buy leads, this does have a cost because there's a cost for all the tokenization that we got to do to get the leads. But this is cold market. This will probably be the last thing you want to do, or maybe you want to do it in conjunction with. So as much as we can make this free, it is available to you. And you basically, the tokens, those you'll have to pay because every time you engage the AI, there's a token, right, that takes through. But that's as you go. So you just use it as you need it. And I don't think it can get any cheaper than that. So what is 105? Jody, there's something that I didn't read the message. I was just too passionate over here with this thing, and I don't know if you want to add any comment. Yeah. So that's good. So you still even using License Quest, and I think I did mention that you still have to buy your course at Excel or what's it called, ExamFX. Okay. Now, one of the things that I wanted to end this with today is it's a good news. Giancarlo was in our training last night in our recruiting event, and he said that the 9 recruits that he have, every single one of them, he has used the HGI income possibility calculator. And an idea came right at that moment, and it actually came, and through the night, I worked on this till very, 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 very late at night, to add a couple of pieces in here that I think would be great to have. This one obviously produces the, gives you a manual way to get to the income that someone needs. But I added something called cash flow models. And the cash flow model says, how can I get to that same income, but in different ways? Like if my lifestyle depends on $600,000, I can do it through personal production. If my average commission is $2,800 and my average annuity at $100,000 is $4,600, I would need 9 IULs and 5 annuities to be able to do that on a monthly basis to make $50,000 if I just want to be at RMD and closing sales, recruiting nobody. But if I want to just do it with base shop, meaning I'm bringing 3 to 5 recruits on a monthly basis, so I need to have 16 producing recruits, right? Where the override from the recruit in my base shop, averaging at 25% override, will give me $1,800 a month, $1,500 a month in overrides from the annuity. That's $3,000 a month. So if that is the average, I would need 16 recruits. So again, we don't have time to go through this, but this is just income models. Like, how do I do it only with first generation? Like, if I really want to have a business, build RMDs, I only need 6 RMDs, right? That can produce, that have 6 producing agents. So I need 6 RMDs with 5 producing agents to make $50,000 a month. No personal production, no base shop. Right? It's almost like Aki. I don't see him have a base shop or personal production. All he does is runs the RMD factory. That's how you really build a business, right? But you actually, so income models kind of help you go there. And these other ones, I have to, we'll go through these at another time. Maybe I can go to the $1 to $1 million journey, which is all predicated on the 3-3-30. Like, if you want to tell somebody, look, if you follow the 3-3-30 model and you earn your promotions exactly as is laid out in the compensation system, as a training associate, obviously you have the bonus that you earn. But as an associate at 45%, this would be your income. This would be your annual income. I think there's doing like 2 sales a month or something like that. Well, doing the 3-3-30 means you do internal consumption for each one of these recruits. That means 3 recruit, 3 sales a month, and then they're doing same thing. So this is all the 3-3-30 focus completely on that, because that is what gives you quickest promotion. Is you do 3 recruit, 3 sales in 30 days, and every person you recruit does 3 recruits, 3 sales in 30 days, and you're at the $1 million mark within like 30 months, very conservatively. Here at $1.6 million, right? And so it shows that we'll do more training on how to use this, because each and every one of these produce your sort of reports that you can then give to your recruit. And I think these support the sort of what the goal is, 0 to 1 million journey using the 3-3-30 system. And it understand the compensation system we have, so it doesn't go out of it, not even half an inch. Like, it's right there. So a lot to digest, but these are just tools that we can use depending on what is it that you are trying to convey to people. So go in there. And when we have more time, we'll go through it, because we're out of time like 11 minutes ago. So Jody, I don't know if you want to just kind of come back. We don't have time for much more today, maybe as you go in there, this is the brain that I was talking about. This is the brain that's going to show you exactly how you don't have to learn Weblet, Cyberzoos, none of it. You don't learn anything. You basically deploy the brain. The brain is trained. The brain's got the skills. You just tell it what you want and it will produce what you want. You basically go through a little training on how to do that so that it's set up in your machine in the safest way possible. And it'll be like having your assistant do everything for you right there. So that alone should take the weight off of you having to learn all of these things and just get me. It's like Hubert says, don't talk to me about labor pain, just show me the baby. We're going to show you the baby, but we need to also build the tools to do it. So, Jody, hopefully that wasn't too much, in
That
short
was
time.
amazing, Mauricio. And thank you very much, man. Very nice.
You're very welcome, Cesar. I don't know who wants, should I wrap it up? Jody's wrap it up? I never wrap it up. Typically, unless you guys have questions. I don't know if you want to stick around for any questions. I was just trying to be mindful, respectful of your time. This is a 1 hour call, so it's 1:12. I don't know if you guys have any questions. I mean, not going anywhere, but if you guys want to stick around here a little longer and ask some questions, I'm open to it.
I'll stick around. Thank you.
I don't have the control. I think I do have the control of the hosting, but questions would be good.
I have a
Anybody?
question.
Yeah.
Where is the licensing quest? I'm on Aristotle right now.
Yeah, no. You have to go to HCI University.
Yes.
HCI
Okay.
Universe, HCI Universe, HCI Universe. This is where it's all is. So you go to license. You can go to License Quest directly. It's licensequest.ai.
Okay.
And you can just go through it. And obviously, all of these are extremely robust. So do expect a hiccup or two, but that's just, throughout the full, how do you say, stability process here in the next 30 days as we go through them. I just want to make you guys aware of, there's some companies out there, our competitors, talking about how they're going to reach a $30 billion valuation, doing all doing all that, and we actually have it. We're not just talking about them. We've got the tools that will embolden you to really create something of value.
Mauricio, you telling us that all these platforms actually don't cost any money unless they want to
No,
get
the
into
ones that
media?
don't. So this one is token because it has AI. So you could to get your license is 29 one time only. So you have to decide whether you want you or your team to get licensed in 2-3 days or do it fast. It's a one-time deal because there is AI in the back of it, and that's how we're able to give you personalized what you call experience in the process. So it uses the tokens. We can't pay for the tokens for you. I mean, this is an investment you make, but there's no monthly recurring, there's no membership on these things. All of these that have any, and you can try it for free. Obviously, you have the full flashcards in a way that we designed it, which is not the typical way. You got the interactive lessons, you got the state license guide, you got pretty much a good experience or an opportunity to experience to decide whether or not $20 or $30 worth saving a lot of headaches and maybe a month or two in getting licensed, because that represents on the back end. Imagine training your team at light speed would be great. Maria?
Hi, Mauricio. The lead Legion, do you have the steps to do? Because I try to put it there to look for the clients in my Facebook and LinkedIn, Instagram, and I don't know if I have to give it a space in my computer to work
Well,
with.
here's what you can do if you want to dive into. There's two tools that we'll say are 75% finished. We're putting the final floors to open, and that would be Lead Legion and Agent Fuse, because those require major programming. I mean, they're really pushing the boundaries of being the cutting edge of technology, but also making sure that we are compliant with the SEC. There's like so many different, right? The SEC, the all of the social media platforms, and just the financial industry in general, like all of it. So my invitation is know about them, but focus, I would say, in these 2 or 3 right now, which is Hegemon Academy, License Quest, and maybe Weblet if you want to continue making those landing pages. But ZyberZeus is going to be there for entire year. It's just going to be phased out over time, over the next year. You still have access to ZyberZeus at no cost. If you already know how to, if like people in Miami, there's a lot of people doing these events and using the tool very happily, and so they're not going anywhere, right? So keep using ZyberZeus, and later come into Weblet and learn how to build the pages there, and then you can do that transition slowly into it. So yeah,
Okay, so it's not ready yet for me to
Legion and Agent Fuse, no. So what are you looking for? Leads for appointments? So what I'm saying is Abacus is fully ready for you. Weblet is ready for you. AdFlux is ready for you. License Quest is ready for you. Hegemon Academy is ready for you. These 2, just wait on them for a week or 2. I think that's not a lot to ask. But this sort of gives you the stack, and the process is you get the fast start, get licensed fast, learn how to generate traffic, capture the traffic, learn how to do more production. And if you want warm appointments from the people you have on your phone, or you want cold appointments, this is obviously what the last 2 that we are fine-tuning. Sandra.
Mauricio, I'm trying to sign in into AdFlux with my AGI email
You have
and
to
password.
register. You have to register for
So we
each
have
and
to
every one
register?
of them. Yes,
Okay,
you have to
okay.
register for each one of them. Yeah.
Okay, that was the question. Thank you.
All right. Now we do have. Remember, at 2:30, Colton sends out an invitation for ZyberZeus training, and so we're training on just technology in general. So if you want a more orderly sort of training on this today at 2:30, that'll probably be better for technical type of a training. But if you have any like more general type of question, that would be the right time here. So we don't go too long into this product and training deal.
So for License Quest, Mauricio, how are you? Thank you. Quick question.
Yeah.
For bringing our people in with License Quest, they would get on HGI Universe, go to License Quest and register.
Correct.
And if for recruiting with this, because people are excited that I've been talking to about being able to get the license in 3 to 7 days, how would we use this for the recruiting tool to show people how they can get their license expeditiously? Like,
well, you can sign up for free, have them taste it for 10, you can have all 10 lessons. That's a lot of lessons for you to see if this is really sticky and if it's helping you learn.
okay.
I think they don't have to pay a single penny. They, like this, go in there, just hey, it's such an easy entry. It's like, come on in, taste it, take
Okay.
10 full lessons on it on your way to get licensed. Maybe using just the free option is going to accelerate your way to get your license. I think that's the best approach to do it.
Okay, thank
But
you.
it is exciting for people to know that there is help in that regard of helping them get licensed fast. And I cannot emphasize enough how important that is, because in terms of products sold, retention of agents, recruiting of agents, this is like a snowball type of effect, where if this delivers like it was intended from the beginning, then it is going to help in all different areas. If you retain more agents, what does that mean? You never know that one person that maybe you've lost because they just couldn't get licensed. That doesn't mean they're not great relationship builders or great leaders. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
and so you lost them because they didn't want to deal with the whole licensing thing, because they went 1, 2, 3 times and they just went on to do something else because they couldn't monetize maybe the opportunity quick enough. So now, obviously, you're taking them in the field immediately, but they're also training to get licensed faster, and that's just going to, again, it means more internal consumption. It means more recruiting, more retention, and obviously more persistency, because there are people that are doing double-digit recruiting, and sometimes even if they do like an internal consumption, some people out of resentment, they would cancel some of these policies. Some people do, not all of them, but some people would like, well, that didn't work, and I kind of got it for this and that, and so they it's the importance of paying yourself first, of being properly protected, didn't quite sink in immediately, because they were coming in here to build a business, to make all this money, right? And then they feel like, well, I was just sold this policy, I was never helped. So out of resentment, they could do that. So we can prevent all of that by accelerating the speed of licensing.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mauricio, that one is only in English at this moment?
I'm sorry?
The license quest is only in English at this moment?
Nope, it's fully in Spanish. All of the classes, all of the videos, all of the Hubert that will be inside. Not Hubert, but it's actually, we have not Hubert. The Hubert inside is actually in the Hegemon Academy. But you do have a quest mentor, right? That you can ask sort of any questions you can interact with, and it's going to take you to clear any questions you may have, because it understands all of the information.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so if that sums it up, I invite you to join me at 2:30 today, as we have a more orderly training into the technology part of it. And so I think it is my turn to close the meeting for today. Have a great one, everybody.
I have a really quick question, Mauricio.
Yes.
To log into Hegemon Academy, is it the same login that we use for Leader Mastery? Or do we have to create a new login?
No, Leader Mastery is going to be there, but the design, if you look at it, there's like only one success path, and the designers, we're not really built for the future.
Right.
So
do we just need to create a new account with Hegemon Academy?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's all I needed.
But
Thank you.
Feel free. Don't, Leader Mastery is there. Don't, feel free. Like those, those will phase out. Those will phase out, right? They have to. Again, where we're going, because see, Leader Mastery doesn't have AI, and you're gonna need that to customize the experience. Cyberzoos had no AI. We gave it a little AI. And look what it did. Look, I mean, for you, Kathy, what did little AI did in that tool for you?
Amazing.
Right? And so now imagine that by orders of magnitude inside of Weblet. I mean, orders of magnitude in every area. And then you plug in the brain, which it reduces the need for your recruit to have to spend time learning the tool. So where technology does not become a distraction, and that's obviously Hubert's concern, that's Jody's concern, that should be my concern, should be your concern, right? Because we're in the building, in the relationship. So we can focus more on that relationship building, field training, servicing our clients, but let the technology manage the technology and just get us what we need. If that made any sense. So
yes, awesome. Yes. And you know how I feel about all this. So
we are stepping into an amazing world, and we are cutting edge. I'm telling you, this is like no one's even close, not even close to what will be here just in the next 30 days or so. So thank you all. I'll see you at 2:30 in my Zoom room. Take care. Bye-bye.
You're the best.